Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Like you're wearing a mask so well, even you forgot who's underneath? What if I told you the version of you watching this right now has to die? Not literally. But if you truly want to grow, if you want to break through the limits that keep you stuck, then that mask, that identity you've worn for years, must be silently eliminated, like a ninja in the dark. Because the self you've built, it's not the one that's going to get you to the next level. And the process of becoming who you're meant to be, it starts by letting go of who you are right now. In this video, we're going to explore what I call the Phoenix Method, a brutal, beautiful transformation rooted in ninja philosophy. Inspired by the teachings of Toshitsugu Takamatsu, one of the last true ninjas, will walk the hidden path of silent death, stillness, and precise rebirth. This isn't just motivation, it's strategy, psychological warfare with yourself, and by the end, you won't just understand how to change, you'll know how to kill your current self and rise from the ashes, sharper than ever. Most people think of ninjas as assassins, silent, lethal, hidden in the shadows. But in reality, the most dangerous thing a ninja ever had to kill was himself. The ninja lived in secrecy, constantly adapting to survive. Every mission required a new identity, a new strategy. He couldn't afford to be attached to who he was yesterday. That's where his true power came from, the ability to let go. Now think about your life. How many days feel exactly the same? Wake up, scroll, work, overthink, sleep, repeat. You're stuck, not because you're lazy, but because you're loyal to an outdated version of yourself, a version that maybe kept you safe in the past, but is now holding you back. Just like the ninja who refuses to change his disguise becomes a target, the person who clings to old habits becomes predictable. And predictable is the enemy of growth. There's a Japanese concept called Muga Mushin, no self, no mind. It means moving without being bound by ego or thought. True ninjas train to become formless, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the curse of the modern mind. We become attached to the thoughts, stories, and fears that define us. But those definitions are prisons. Toshitsugu Takamatsu once said, "To win without fighting is best." That applies to your inner world too. You don't have to fight your old self with brute force. You simply need to stop giving it power, see it, study it, and quietly walk past it. Right now, your life may feel like a loop, but loops are just missions gone wrong. The ninja doesn't keep repeating what doesn't work. He adapts, evolves, disappears from his old path and reemerges elsewhere, stronger. Ask yourself this: what patterns keep pulling you back? What beliefs are you protecting that no longer serve you? What identity are you afraid to outgrow? The ninja knew survival wasn't just physical, it was psychological. He had to remain unseen, even to himself. But here's the dangerous part. Your old self doesn't want to die. It clings, it rationalizes, it whispers lies like, "This is who you are." You'll never change, it wants to survive. But if you let it drive your life, it will crash you into mediocrity again and again. The ninja silences that voice, not with force, but with clarity. He replaces it with precision, discipline, and strategy. And you must do the same. You must stop treating your thoughts as facts and start treating them like signals. Not every signal deserves a response, especially the ones rooted in fear. Once you understand that, the transformation begins. Transformation isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks or applause. Real change, deep, irreversible change, starts in silence. The ninja understood this. Before he could master a technique, he had to master himself. And that mastery always began in the shadows, where no one could see him, not even his ego. The next step in the Phoenix Method is simple in theory, brutal in practice: the silent death of your current self. This isn't a motivational montage. It's the quiet decision to walk away from the habits, thoughts, and identities that are holding you hostage. It's saying goodbye to your comfort zone without anyone noticing. Like a ninja slipping out of the compound under moonlight. No sound, no struggle, just gone. But let's be honest, your old self won't go quietly. It'll fight for attention. It'll disguise itself as logic, comfort, even love. That's its last defense. And this is where most people fail. They wait for motivation. They want permission. But the ninja doesn't wait. He moves when the path is clear, and sometimes when it isn't. There's no ceremony here. No one is going to clap for you. No one is going to post your breakthrough on social media. This is between you. And that's what makes it real. Killing your current self doesn't mean becoming someone fake. It means removing what's false. The self built from fear, from childhood wounds, from societal pressure. It all has to go. The ninja isn't emotionless. He just doesn't let emotion blind him. And neither should you. Detachment isn't indifference. It's awareness. Awareness of what no longer serves you, and the courage to walk away from it, even if it once saved you. In the ninja tradition, the student is taught to die before he dies, to let go of all attachment, all self-importance, all illusion. Only then is he ready to begin. So now ask yourself, what needs to die in you today? Not tomorrow, not next year, today. Because until you let go of who you are, you'll never make room for who you could become. This is where the discipline of invisibility begins, not from others, but from your own self-deception. You stop broadcasting your change. You stop waiting for validation. You become your own witness, your own judge, your own strategist. And that is terrifying. Because once you decide to leave behind who you've been, you step into a space of silence, of uncertainty, of identity loss. But in that silence lies clarity. That's the battlefield. Not out there, but in here, inside, where the real war is fought. This isn't easy, but it's necessary. Once your old self is gone, what remains? Ashes, emptiness, silence. This is the part no one talks about, the void between who you were and who you're becoming. Most people run from it. They panic. They scramble to fill the silence with distractions, routines, anything that makes them feel like they still exist. But the ninja? He sits in the ashes. He knows that before rebirth, there must be nothingness. Before the next mission, there must be stillness. This is where you confront what's been buried beneath the noise, your fears, your regrets, your shadow. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, facing the parts of yourself you've ignored, repressed, or feared. The ninja didn't just study weapons, he studied his inner world. He turned solitude into power. And you must do the same. When everything feels stripped away, don't rush to rebuild. Don't chase a new identity to replace the old. Instead, observe. Sit with the discomfort, because in those ashes lie the fragments of your truth. You'll hear echoes of the past, doubts, guilt, forgotten dreams. Let them speak, but don't obey them. Listen, then let them dissolve. This is not weakness. This is inner strength. Because the person who can sit in stillness, who can wait without needing to be anything, is the one who can rise with purpose. The ninja didn't fear the quiet. He mastered it. In the stillness, he sharpened his senses, strengthened his resolve. And that's what this stage is, training, not in combat, but in consciousness. So pause, reflect. Strip yourself down to your rawest form. Who are you when you are no one? What remains when the roles, masks, and expectations are gone? This isn't the end. It's the chrysalis, and it's sacred. Because when the phoenix rises again, it won't carry the ashes. It'll carry the lessons. But it's also in this phase that most people sabotage their growth. They confuse stillness with stagnation. They believe if nothing is happening, they're failing. But silence is not failure. It's integration. You are not rebuilding just yet. You are remembering, realigning. This is where your values surface, where your vision becomes clearer, where your true desires, the ones buried under survival mode, finally rise to the surface. Don't try to escape this moment. Don't scroll past it. This is the dojo of your transformation. Every second you endure this stillness, you're forging a deeper connection with the self that is about to emerge. It's slow, it's subtle, but it's sacred. Now comes the part where most people rush, the rebuild. They think transformation means becoming someone else entirely. But the ninja knows better. He doesn't abandon his essence, he refines it. He rebuilds not with speed, but with precision. This is the fourth stage of the Phoenix method, rebuilding with intention. You've burned away the noise, you've sat in the ashes. Now you choose, deliberately, what gets to return. What habits align with your future? What beliefs make you stronger? What practices sharpen your mind and your mission? The ninja doesn't rebuild blindly. He doesn't copy someone else's blueprint. He crafts his own, based on values, clarity, and strategy. Start small. Rebuild from the core. You don't need to become unrecognizable. You need to become undeniable. James Clear writes in Atomic Habits that true transformation doesn't come from massive change, but from small, consistent actions that stack over time. The ninja applies this with ruthless focus. He refines his stance, sharpens one move, then another, until excellence becomes effortless. So ask yourself, what is one habit I can build today that serves my next evolution? Maybe it's journaling before bed. Maybe it's cutting your screen time by an hour. Maybe it's training your mind to respond instead of react. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It has to be deliberate. The ninja rebuilds not just his skills, but his identity. Every action reinforces who he's becoming. Every habit is a silent vote for the future self he's stepping into. And he protects that process fiercely, because he knows, if he rebuilds carelessly, he risks becoming a refined version of his old self, and falling back into the same loop. Precision is protection. So move with care, choose with clarity, rebuild not from pressure, but from power. This is your blueprint now, not to impress the world, but to align with your truth. And when each piece is chosen with intention, the self that emerges is not only stronger, it's unstoppable. The key is in the silence between choices. That moment where you pause before saying yes to an old impulse. That breath before reacting the same way you always have. That's where the ninja rewires himself, between the thought and the action. Don't aim for perfection, aim for alignment. This process isn't linear. You'll falter, you'll forget. That's part of rebuilding. But with each intentional step, you're crafting a life that reflects the version of you that's been hidden, waiting to emerge with clarity, strength, and purpose. This isn't reinvention. This is revelation. Rebirth isn't a one-time event, and that's the part no one wants to hear. You've burned your old self, sat in the ashes, rebuilt with care. But this journey, it never ends, and that's not a burden, it's a gift. The final stage of the Phoenix method is what I call the eternal return. The ninja doesn't just master the blade once, he sharpens it daily. He doesn't ascend and stay there, he repeats the cycle. Because mastery isn't a destination, it's a practice. Toshitsugu Takamatsu trained into his 70s, not because he had to, but because he understood. Every stage of life brings a new version of you, and with that, a new self to let go of, a new ego to shed, a new layer to burn. So don't get comfortable. Get curious. The version of you that feels aligned today may become a prison tomorrow. That's not failure. That's evolution. Your mission isn't to become finished, it's to stay fluid, to become the kind of person who can constantly observe, adapt, and ascend. Like the ninja returning to his training ground after every mission, you too return to yourself. You scan for weakness, you refine, you rise again. And that cycle? That's power. Most people avoid this work. They change once, think it's done, and years later wonder why they're stuck again. But you're different, because now you see the pattern. You understand that growth isn't linear. It spirals. Every time you rise, you do so with deeper clarity, more resilience, and sharper focus. The phoenix doesn't rise just once. It lives in cycles. Burn, rest, rebuild, repeat. The ninja doesn't fear this rhythm. He trusts it. He finds strength in the surrender. And you must too. Because now you know, transformation isn't a finish line. It's a lifestyle. One that's chosen, practiced, and protected every single day. So when the old fears return, when doubt creeps back in, don't panic. That's just your next cycle beginning. And now, you're ready for it. You'll notice it in small ways. A habit that no longer fits. A routine that feels too tight. A goal that once lit you up now feels empty. These are signals, not signs of failure, but invitations. Invitations to shed again, to step into a deeper level of yourself. And every time you accept, the flame burns hotter. But so does your light. This is the way of the ninja, the way of the phoenix. Not a single rise, but infinite rebirths. Each one more intentional than the last. You've now walked the path of the phoenix, not just as a symbol, but as a method, a way of life forged in silence, sharpened by truth, and reborn through intention. You've killed the version of you that no longer served your mission. You've sat in the ashes, embraced the stillness, and rebuilt yourself piece by piece, not for the world, but for yourself. And now, you know the truth. This process never ends, but neither does your potential. So the only question left is, what will you let go of today? Which part of you needs to burn, so a more powerful version can rise? Don't just watch this video and move on. Reflect, decide, act. Because the ninja doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He creates it, one silent, precise decision at a time. If this video spoke to something inside you, if it woke up a part of you that's been waiting to rise, then this is just the beginning. Subscribe for more content like this, and leave a comment. What part of your old self are you ready to burn? The Phoenix method has only one rule: rise, burn, evolve, repeat. And remember, every ending is just a disguised beginning. The next version of you is already waiting.